Hey everyone, welcome to Project Roosevelt. So, I decided to make a video talking about my experience, what I did today for 9/11, since today's the 22nd anniversary of that horrible day. I decided I wanted to do the stair climbing challenge, and I had to do some some calculations on my phone because the machine I was using at the gym I go to wasn't counting the floors. So I was on that machine for over 70 minutes, which is insane for me because over two. I'm back up to over 230 pounds, so I apologize for that. I'm still working on trying to get slowly down to 180 pounds, but let's not make that about this video. So, anyways, there's this guy that was also doing the challenge, except for he was doing it for real, where he actually had a 45-pound weight vest on when he was doing it, and I was not going to do that. But needless to say, though, I did it for over 70 minutes, and I was averaging over 60 steps, about 60 steps a minute, and I had to do the calculations because apparently the World Trade Center had 2,071 steps in one of the towers, and I calculated to doing about 4,320 steps, so I did it about 2 times over. You can fact check me on that on the math if you want, but I think I did it 2 times over, so I guess I did it for both towers. But that's besides the point. The point of all of that was it boggles my mind, those firefighters going up there with 45 pounds of gear, up all those flights of steps to try to save as many lives as they could, and many of them didn't make it out because the towers collapsed on them, and it made me really appreciate all the sacrifices that they did, and all the first responders who go out there to put their lives on the line for our safety. And I just it's just hard to describe just how amazingly brave that is for them to do that, knowing that they very well weren't gonna be able to walk out of that building, and sadly many of them didn't. And it's just it makes me reflect on just how grateful I am for their sacrifice, and also on the lives of all those that were lost. The many people who worked in those buildings, the people in the Pentagon, the poor passengers on those airplanes that ended up crashing to those towers in the Pentagon, and those brave souls on Flight 93 that fought the terrorists and crashed the airplane over the fields in Pennsylvania to prevent them from going into the White House, which is, you you hear the messages of the people on the airplanes calling home just because they know they're probably going to die. You just think, the how precious life is and how we really should not take things for granted. I hope and pray that we will remember how we were the day after on September 12th. How we were all kind to each other. We strive to treat each other with dignity and respect, and sadly I think there's a lot of people who've just forgotten that. Just been being ugly towards each other. And I like to encourage everyone that sees this video to treat other people with respect. If you get cut off by someone, when you're driving, for instance, it's maybe try not to cuss at them, even though they probably wouldn't even know that, or they probably do know that. maybe just for a little bit, or just try to do simple service things like opening the door for someone, and or if you see someone struggling with their groceries, like an elderly person, ask them if need help with that, and help them load it into their car, and just be kind to each other is the main thing I'm hoping that people will strive to do. I remember when I remember that day in 2001. I was in second grade. Remember my parents had the TV on, and remember they just the stunned, horrified looks on their faces. I knew something wrong was going on because saw the TV, saw the towers on flames, and see we were 2 hours behind. So when I got up around 7 or 7:30, so it wasn't too long before I think it was the first tower that collapsed. You have to forgive me on the time of the South Tower because I know that one collapsed first. I know that the North Tower collapsed at 10:28 for some reason. I remember that one. And I remember going to school that day. The teachers were, again, they had the TVs on, but then when they saw that we were entering a classroom, that because they knew we were freaked out, that they decided to turn off the TVs. And how those teachers made it through that day, I don't know. I I commend them for that. I I also feel for those who still feel the pains of their loved ones lost that day. The many first responders who lost their brothers and sisters as they made the ultimate sacrifice. And I just hope that we remember that. And yeah, so thank you so much for all your help and support, and hope you hope we can hope we can be able to go and be nicer to each other. That's all I got.